The most important promise to keep is the one you make to yourself. Absolutely. I know that's counter to what many of you have heard, and certainly what most of us live. We will bend over backwards to fulfill our word to someone else. And we get really upset and very agitated when people make promises to us and they don't keep their promises. Well, let me ask you this. Have you given any thought to how it's impacting your life that you make promises time and time and time again to yourself and you break them? That's right. If when other people make promises to us and repeatedly don't follow through, we end up distrusting them, perhaps even disliking them, possibly cutting them off from our lives if we can, and certainly ignoring them as much as possible. What do you think happens to your relationship with yourself when you know you can't trust you? When you have repeatedly gone back on your word, on your own promises to yourself? How do you make promises to yourself, you say? I'll give you some examples. Two people are dating. The relationship is fraught with issues, distrust, things have happened, and there have been lots of broken promises. What impact does that have on a person? After a while, you certainly are not inclined to be with this person. Even if you stay with them, you don't believe most of what they say. There's a lot of angst that builds up within you. And you get to a point where really you disregard most of what you hear from them because you're tired of setting yourself up only to be let down, right? Now, what do you think happens when you repeatedly tell yourself that you are going to do things for you and you go back on them? So let's say you're dating someone, and in that relationship, as messed up as it is, you've now convinced yourself that you are done with that relationship. You will no longer take their calls. You will no longer have anything outside of what absolutely has to be. You will no longer have a romantic relationship, if you will, with that person. What happens when on a Friday evening you're feeling rather dejected? It's been a long day. You'd love to have some companionship, and that person calls or texts you and says, hey, you want to hang out? And you say, sure, let's meet so-and-so, or come on over, or I'll come over. What do you do in that moment? You tell yourself, I can't trust you. I can't trust me. Because you just told me you would have nothing else to do with this person, and the minute you got weak or tired or needy, you went back on that promise. Or let's look at the all-time favorite New Year's resolution goal people set to lose weight. And you determined, I'm going to cut back on my sweets, or I'm going to limit myself to just one soda a day, or I am going to cut back on my portion size. But again, you're at your favorite restaurant, and oh my gosh, they have these great onion rings, and then they have this death by chocolate dessert to die for, and oh my gosh, if you've never tasted their ribs and macaroni and cheese, you don't know what you're missing in life. And so what do you tell yourself? Tomorrow. Today I'm going to indulge. Tomorrow. You've just broken another promise with yourself. And it goes on and on. We do it in the areas of finance. We do it in the areas of cleaning our homes, studying, where we're going to be, what we're going to do. Over and over and over again, we make promises to ourselves. And then we also determine, I'm not important enough to keep the promise I made to myself. No one will know. It doesn't impact anyone anyway except me. And actually, we don't even really think that it has an impact. So we just break the promise and we move on. But what you're basically doing is you're training yourself to distrust yourself. You are actually training your subconscious mind to disregard anything that you have to say. So when you tell your subconscious mind, we're going to do this, your subconscious mind responds with, yeah, whatever. Been there, done that, heard that before, not going down that road with you anymore. And so the most important, the most powerful tool we have actually for our success is actually the power of our mind. Our subconscious mind in particular is always at work, but it only works on what we tell it to work on. And so when we've now told our subconscious mind that we can't be trusted, when you tell your subconscious mind, I want to accomplish this, your subconscious mind ignores you and does not put its power to work on your behalf, because you trained it not to trust you, not to believe you. And so you've actually set up a situation where you're constantly self-sabotaging, where you make plans or set goals and your subconscious works against you because your subconscious doesn't believe you. So how do you reverse this? It's really as simple as rebuilding a relationship with a third party, rebuilding a relationship with another person. Start off by acknowledging how often and how consistently you have disregarded yourself, how many broken promises you've made to yourself, and apologize. Yes, look yourself in the mirror and say, I am so sorry for all the times I said I would drink more water, or I would stop watching those movies that aren't good for me, I'll stop killing time, I'll stop procrastinating, I'll stop eating unhealthy, I'll stop hanging out with the wrong crowd, I'll stop shirking my responsibilities at work. Apologize to yourself. And then after that, ask yourself for forgiveness and say, give me another chance. And now with this new chance that you can give yourself, make the decision to only make promises to yourself that you can keep. So rather than an absolute, I will stop eating bread, when you know you love bread, maybe just start with, you know what, I'm going to limit my intake, and gradually work yourself to where you want to be. Take those baby steps where you start with the little things, and then you come back and you say, congratulations self, I followed through. I followed through this time. And over a period of time, your subconscious mind will again begin to trust you, will again go back to work on those things that you say are important for you to accomplish. Don't procrastinate. Start right now. Be honest with yourself. Admit your faults to yourself. Admit that you've broken promises to yourself. Ask for forgiveness. Accept the forgiveness. And start taking those steps today to rebuild a whole new relationship with yourself that's based on trust, that's based on respect, that's based on you saying, I matter enough to keep my own promises to myself. Because if you don't keep your own promises to yourself, how can you possibly expect anyone else to esteem you enough to keep their promises to you? Make just this one change in your life and see what a difference it makes in terms of how you feel about yourself and in terms of what you accomplish. And if you are not already subscribed to my weekly newsletter, it's an online newsletter, go to my website, www.ayaeneli.com, and subscribe today. I wish you your abundance.